Alright, let's get started with our operation today for High Command PvP match commentary. I just need to look and see... Alright, Oddball's blue 4, Sam's going to be up 4. So let's go ahead and put a prediction up. I'll put this up for... We'll shoot for 15 minutes. So, Sam... Wait, no. Oddball's defending first. And Sam is attacking first. Let's get that going. Alright, here we go. I'm going to locally mute myself because I still got to unscrew the frickin' plugin information and whatnot, but we'll get that sorted, hopefully, at the end of the month. Maybe a little longer. I got to hound Ilbanek about that, but in exchange, I'll have to probably cover a few HK rounds. But regardless... Here is what we are doing today. So we did our ODST op. That was all good. And now we're going to go ahead and go into High Command, which we normally cover on Tuesdays when it is in season. This is currently about a 75-player match, and they've got forces parsed over. So how High Command works is in terms of the betting, we are basically, whoever has 2 of the 3 objectives by the end op 4, we've got 2 sectors for them to take in a terminal site. Blue 4 have to defend the terminal site and the 2 sectors. Terminal, how it gets taken is op 4 interacts with the terminal. If, I think, 2 minutes pass without Blue 4, the defenders interact with the terminal is considered hacked, it self-destructs. Sectors, if op 4, the attacking faction, comes in with a number advantage on the sector and maintains that number advantage for 90 seconds uninterrupted, then the sector is taken, the sector cannot be taken back. If at any point that number advantage is interrupted, the timer is then reset and then restarts from the top of the time at 90 seconds. When that number advantage is remaintained by the attacking faction. So, how High Command does tallies is they like to tally whoever has more points week to week, so that's just for tracking the commanders in PvP itself, but for the sake of the betting rounds, we only cover whoever at least maintains 2 out of 3 objectives by the end of the scenario. I'm going to lower my music just a touch, because I'm having trouble hearing myself. Yep, that's not going to work. There we go. So, with that, Blue 4 and Op 4, because it's command-focused PvP, they also have a choice of assets. I believe Blue 4 starts with Sapper teams and then has the choice of either a Warrior IFV or 2 Bulldog APCs and 2 Jackal HMGs. Op 4, they have 2 heavy weapons teams and 6 transport vehicles. I think they're just trucks or off-roads or something. And then the choice of 2 BTR-80 Alphas or 2 BRDMs and 2 MTLVs with KPVTs. So I think the heavy weapons teams could take out the IFV on their own, but you basically get either a really powerful single asset, or in Op 4's case 2, which aren't going to be as powerful as the Warrior though, or you get a bunch of extra vehicle assets for thinning out the infantry. So I'm going to be honest, I think Op 4's best choice in that role is going to always be the 80 Alphas, because then they can spread them out and cover against whatever Blue 4's vehicle choice is, be it the Warrior or the cars. I don't really see a reason to take any, like, the other assets, because, yes, you have 2 heavy weapons teams, but you still got to close them close to the IFE, the Warrior. And it would be better just to be over-prepared for that, because then you can at least use the 80 Alphas to cover the infantry going in. Whereas the other 4 assets, I mean, it's just 4 KPVTs. 14.5 and PKTs are great for suppression and whatnot, but at the end of the day, I just noticed my mic was so far from my mouth. At the end of the day, it's just going to matter if you can get your foot in the door and then suppress with vehicles. So... Plus, with less vehicle choice you have, or chosen, you have less infantry you need to crew them, so you can focus more on the infantry assault, which is pretty important. I was about to say, if I haven't pushed in because I forgot to hit the continue button, I would laugh my ass off. Blue 4, meanwhile, you get either the Warrior or the defensive vehicles. I'm going to be honest, that's also a really tough choice, because if you're going to get the Warrior, you basically need to have a good place to put it to overwatch, and this is all really flat terrain. So you could use it, maybe put it on like the hill up here and then try to cover stuff, because this is, you know, 126 meters. It's just dependent on can you get good sight lines from that position. But as you can see, this is all forested terrain, so it's going to be really hard for Blue 4 to get any good overwatch from that hillside. Whereas, I mean, the flatlands, it's it's tough. But the IFV also has magnification compared to the 50 cals you would get from the 2 Bulldogs and the Jackals. If you want to do some counterattacking on the enemy line, though, Jackals and the Bulldogs would be a good choice, but for 75 players where you have roughly, 35v35, a little over that with a slight number advantage to opt for, I think the Warrior would be the better choice because it allows you to put more infantry on the ground, more eyes looking around, and I don't think there's any magnified optics on the Bulldog or the Jackals. That would potentially, change it because, magnified optics in these open areas would be killer to lock down these open spots, and then you got the riverbeds moving in surrounded by trees, but again, it just depends on the sight lines, but I think both sides are going to go heavy with the autocannons. I don't see Op4 taking the BRDMs. I don't see Blue 4 taking the Jackals, but they might surprise me. So we'll just have to see how things go. We'll see where Blue 4 sets up the mines with their sapper teams. Probably the riverbed, I would say, would be a good choice. The MSRs on the sides would be another good choice. Any open area that they think Op4 can come in on, because it looks like Op4 only has a single spawn. However, they can always do a massive flank around and try to attack from different areas. Looking at the map here, Blue 4 does have it a bit tough because there's a lot of tree line around them. There's the obvious riverbed to move into the AO. Towards the south, we got some vehicles that Op4 could try to deploy behind before they get to the actual sectors. So it's going to force Blue 4 to set up a garrison here, set up something here to overwatch the river, set up something on the terminal. Blue 4 is going to be very, very spread out in this scenario. And Op4, all they need to do is just bring all their forces together. They can either come around, they can hold on these hills, use them for overwatch for a few hundred meters, and then push units up the tree line. And then around 2, especially if they have BTR-80 alphas or the BRDMs with the MTLBs, they can just do a vehicle flanking action and lock down this AO, and then come in from the top, overwatch from these hilltops, and then take Sector 1, and then they've won the round. And then they can go for the final area and just get a perfect score. Or Op4 can come around, try to get the buildings on the southern side, utilize their BRDMs or KPVT, the 14.5 heavy machine guns, suppress Blue 4 out of this, get their foot in the door by charging vehicles up, and then just disseminate through the buildings as they cover and fire, then move into this sector, take it with vehicles suppressing, and then move through the buildings, do that, and then just push upwards. That would be the final fight where Blue 4 would probably have to maintain a line. But, I mean, there's 2 really good options for Op4 to assault. I think the trap here is the riverbed, because it's all forested. Blue 4 have buildings to lock it down. They can put AT mines in the riverbed. I feel that there is a little hill right here, but Blue 4 is probably going to take it. But as soon as Blue 4 detects where Op4 is coming from, they should, in theory, pull all their forces to reestablish front lines. I think Blue 4 needed some sort of drone or something to see where Op4 was coming from, because Blue 4 here has to make a choice of where to defend early on. And you can't really make that choice. So, I mean, Blue 4 might have to choose the Bulldogs and the Jackals just to send teams out to get reconnaissance data at this point, because if Blue 4 just stays spread out too much and Op4 is aggressive with their pushing, by the time Blue 4 pulls everything to rally, they're already going to lose either the northern terminal or the southern sector. If Op4 attacks through the middle, that gives Blue 4 more time to pull its assets to the north or south, which all the more reason Op4 should attack on the northern or southern extreme here. But again, I would think the main way to go in with the riverbed is definitely a trap. Yeah, you've got all the forested area, but you have to fight this entire battle line on its own. Why not just pick it off from the north or the south first? And then you have the really weird choice, which is go all the way around and attack it from the east. A lot of reasons you shouldn't do that. You got way too many open areas here. Yeah, you have a village that can put your foot in the door, and you can have the forest to go up on for the southern area, and same with these areas, but you still got some openness on that top side. Bottom side, yeah, you got the forest to work with if you really want to flank around, but by the time you do that flank around action, Blue 4 is going to know where you are. On principle, I mean, these commanders are really good at considering the timing of everything, and you have to remember that, Blue 4 does have some positions where they can take hilltops, and players in HK tend to get really antsy when they're staying around not doing much for too long, so I wouldn't do the flank around, but that is a solid strategy of, you know, put your forces up and either attack here. If you think you have too much here, you can send it on the far right side here and form an L-shaped attack on Sector 3, which can end up becoming a concave attack if you have forces coming up this town area here and then, you know, overwatching through the middle. Or, again, we're just going to see a northern attack from these hilltops. I think Blue 4's screwed if we see them go and try to put forces on Hill 99, 103, and 111, because that's going to be way too much sent out. And then towards the south, we could see Blue 4 try to take 109 down here. But it's really risky to do that. If Blue 4 wanted total reconnaissance security, we would need to see groups of 2 charge up and take 129 and 109 and 101. And maybe 99. But Blue 4, the only way they're going to do that is if they get the 2 APCs, the 2 Bulldogs, and the 2 Jackals. Because otherwise they have to run a kilometer on foot, and Op 4 gets vehicles to move. So they're already going to be completely deploying by that point, and then Blue 4 have to run their infantry all the way back. They're going to be winded. They're not going to be able to fight for a few minutes as they regain stamina. And by then, Blue 4 could still bulldoze. So Blue 4 have a tough choice between potentially getting an IFV and just using that as an Overwatch element, or the funny solution, they just send it down the freaking riverbed right into Op 4 spawn and try to hit the tail of wherever Op 4 is going, where you basically move it up to this corner, cut your engine, turn your guy out, listen for vehicles, and then just move up a few hundred meters at a time and see if you can listen for Blue 4's vehicles in the Op 4's vehicles in the distance, and then you follow it in. That would be an incredibly risky, but I would say the most incredibly based strategy for Blue 4. The best defense is always a good offense, so why not just charge your opponent at that point? All right, now we're going to see the AO. So, oh, it looks like there were some static choices for Blue 4 as well. So if they choose the Warrior, they also get 2 HMGs compared to 1. Oh, but the Jackals are scoped. The Bulldogs aren't, and they're only GPMGs. But the 50 cals, these are better. These are much better because anything Op 4 can get sniped by these assets. The Warrior is, don't touch that. This is going to have better AP capability because you're not trying to kill the vehicle, you're just killing the crewmen. And this has frickin', I mean, let's see if the details, I don't think the details come up for those choices, but the loadout of that APC, if it has only like, you know, 50 or 70 rounds per battery compared to this with 100 rounds for killing crew, this is the better choice. Hands down. That's why I said I don't know if they're scoped or not. If they're not scoped, the Warrior's the better choice. If these are scoped, which they are, these are the better choice because you get more mobility with it. You can use it as reconnaissance. Blue 4 can push these out. They could even push these out in the beginning and just hunt the convoy. Like, there's so many more options with this. And then you can use the Bulldogs as additional transport compared to the Warrior. So I hope the commanders are smart enough. It's oddball on Blue 4 here. I hope he's smart enough to make this choice. Op 4, meanwhile, I know that they don't have any scope capabilities, but we have the KPVTs and the BRDMs, and that's going to give a lot of mobility compared to the 80 Alphas. I'm going to be honest, for Op 4's sake, I think the 80 Alphas are the better choice. Because you can still put like 2 squads of people on a BTR 80 Alpha. They still get transport vehicles, which I'm not seeing right now. But even then, they can still transport everyone on the 80 Alphas, and then that keeps everyone together on the 80 Alphas if they don't actually have that transport. So I think the autocannons would be good. Yeah, I don't think they spawned them, so now they're spawning them in now because they came late. Mission dev screwed up. Oh, well. And then these billboards are just to show where the Blue 4 and Op 4 players are. Blue 4 are British, Op 4 are the Angolan defenders. Or the local forces here. But they're going to go for the KPVTs. I kind of disagree with that because it's going to leave for the attacking faction. That's 8 infantry dedicated to driving and gunning. Technically, these could be 3-man because the commander seat also gets that 762. And that's, again, when it's a 35v40 for this 75 player count, that is, if we take 40 divided by 8, that's 20% of your infantry dedicated to vehicle crew, and in which case, for the BTR 80 Alphas, you only need 10% because it's 4 people, instead of the, you know, 8 to technically 10, though. It's 20 to 25% versus 10%. The numbers are much better, and I think the autocannons will do a much better job at suppression, and they can kill enemy vehicles a lot quicker compared to this. Plus, you get 2 of them. If it was just 1 of them, then I would agree with this choice. But if it's 2, these are the better asset to work with. But this shows me that Op4 might also try to divide their forces a bit more because they're really flocking to these assets. But let's go ahead and go over our groups here. So Oddball is going to be commanded Blue 4. Killer J leading Alpha 1s. Watts, Whiteside, Do It, Sun, and Twins. Bravo 1 is NASA, Zixmi, Rizbo, Wonder, Demovar, Rigel, Lolo, Misano, and Cuboid. Charlie 1 has Kremet with Dennis, Barrows, Kevin, Pogo _, and Cheeseburger. Delta 1 has Giovanni, Maxic, Rambo Bambo, Rocky 19, Templar X, and Monkey Enjoyer. Golf is being led by Ash with Eric, Hiru, Major Khan, and Tackleberry. And Hotel is Samuel with Orn, Valos, and Combs. Golf and Hotel are the sapper crews, so they can plant AT mines. We'll be watching to see what they do with those, but otherwise that's the entirety of Blue 4. Op 4 commanded by Sam for this round with Paid Mercenary Ilbanek. I'm assuming the Ilb is the cutoff of his name. Alpha being led by Ruku with Gregory, Husik, Wojtek, Gerald's, Adrisip, Mucus, Defraw, Germa. It's Jamera. I always call him Germa, though. Pricel and Adamek. Boyar 2 is Twakin, Jasper, Rodrig, Lusad, Camred, and Crazy. Demo 1 has Kiri with Sismo, Lolo, Alexander, Sixor, and BJ. Fendon, and I'm pretty sure that some of these will also include vehicle teams, but we have Pierce, Bursty, and Marcho together. Gregory has Henry, Murphy, T, and Fonz, and Hasharo has Nemesis, Cullis, Katz, Malin, Puma, and Iander. You gotta remember they got 2 quote-unquote heavy weapon teams, which I think means additional AT. I still think the BTR-80 Alphas would be a better choice for multiple reasons, but I mean, that's Sam's choice. Now, if he's trying to do, like, a divided attack and send, 2 forces, half his group up here and half his group up here to really, like, feel out Blue 4's defenses, which normally I'd be against, but because of the spread of the infantry and the size of this AO, I'd actually be for, because a pincer attack with, 20 players on each side, and you just let them coordinate the attack as is, I think would be a great way to keep Blue 4's line stretched. You just have to be really good at, your suppression and coordination with vehicle assets, but I think it's entirely doable. Otherwise, let's go ahead and look at our mission details here, and I'll go over everything again. Again, Blue 4 holding a terminal and 2 sectors, Op 4 trying to take them. Whoever controls 2 out of 3 of the objectives by the end of the round will win this round. And remember, it's 2 rounds for HK, and then they switch. How do you participate in this game? 1 second. I hope this command still works. Excellent. You might be able to download the mod set and get in by round 2, which it starts after this round, so good luck. We also do plenty of other PvP events. If you want to DM me on Discord, I can give you all the Discord information about those groups. Otherwise, Blue 4 loadouts are going to be United Kingdom loadouts. So I've got L85s with GPMGs, the freaking British version of their 20 rounds Mark 18. Or HK 418, the 20-round 7.62x51 marksman rifle. And then they have NLOS for AT. Op 4, meanwhile, they've got skeletal stocked AK-74s with NPZ railing. They have the M60 E4s, which, fought against the 240 Bravo, but lost to the 240 Bravo. That became the, next-gen 7.62 medium machine gun for the U.S. back in the day. Mark 14s for their marksman rifles, RPG-7s for the light anti-tank, and the medium anti-tank, which the 2 heavy weapon teams have, is going to be the Moz. All right, looking at the map and the early deployment, this is Ron on so many levels. I'm not sure. I think for fairness, Blue 4 has to know where Op 4 spawn, because if they then switch the rounds, unless they're changing the Op 4 spawn for round 2, I really don't understand why there's a massive group of people all the way out here. The only thing I can think of is they went to the highest point on the map, and they're going to try to utilize this for reconnaissance. But where is... It's 1,500 meters of render distance, 175 build points, and the limit's 55 minutes. But a click and a half is going to be bordering on this. So I guess from here they would see anything coming from the north. So I get some of that. And then they have the Scope 50 cal up here. But that Scope 50 cal is not going to be that useful. That would be more so you have an element back here just to overwatch, and then you send the car up to get closer so it can actually close in and get kills. But, I mean, this is... It's literally like a little past that line is the maximum render distance. And then they're sending the Bulldog down to 109 to do that side security. But Oh, they're really, really spread out. What I'm immediately worried about with Blue 4 is they're way too spread out to coordinate a proper defense. Units are going to get caught way behind enemy or caught outside of the actual AO and then be too slow to trickle in. But again, it just depends on how Blue 4 and Op 4 play it. So Blue 4 is really spread out. Op 4, though, we're also seeing are really spread out here. And we see that the Sappers have basically mined out the way they're posturing right now. They definitely have stuff set up in this trench line. They're planning for an attack to come this way, and I guess it might actually happen because we have a team down here trying to use Hill 81 to do some reconnaissance. So here's my predictions right now. Op 4's this main group is going to try to take north with this group. These guys are going to get cut off by the 50 cal and either forced to retreat or possibly even taken out from afar. And then this group's going to come in. Did I do the NSF? No, I haven't. I pushed it back again because I got too overwhelmed and couldn't run stuff on Monday. So I'm hoping to run it next week because I got to push Morton back a week. And I don't want to keep doing that to him because of his Zeusing. But regardless, we'll work through what we can. I am but one man and there's only so much I can do. And there's only so much stress I can take. But regardless, we'll see if this Blue 4 vehicle spots stuff coming out. At the render distance, they should start seeing these units. I think I've got this lined up with the maximum render. But if we look, yeah, so about 1,500. This is the render distance that they have. So they could potentially start seeing those units out there. So Blue 4 forcing those units back and then regrouping on one of these hilltops and continuing the northern push. This, I think, is going to be where Op 4 is going to get their entry in because we only have a team right here and then a small paltry team back here. We'll see Blue 4 potentially pull this group back to assist. However, we do have this element on the southern side. Sam, I think, is really trying to push a bunch of stuff in different angles because there's a lot of openings that he could... Not a lot of openings. There's a big opening he's making on the southern side, and then the move will, I guess, be to sneak this team into Sector 3, because they have a BRDM, which means they're going to be a very fast-moving group here. So they could just swipe into Sector 3 and take it from behind as Blue 4 redeploys. You want to see loadouts again? All right, Blue 4, L85s as their primary weapon, GPMGs for their machine gun. It's a G28 equivalent. It's a 20-round 7.62 by 51 NATO marksman rifle, technically, for their marksman rifle, and then NLAWs, which is short-range guided AT. Op 4 are skeletal stock AK-74s with NPC railing for Western optics. Machine gunners are M60 E4s. Marksmen are Mark 14s. Light anti-tank is an RPG, probably with 2 rounds, and then their medium anti-tank in 2 of their teams is Mazes. And if you need to see anything again, let me know. I will adjust things, but I'm willing to bet this team is literally on standby for things to kick off and then sneak in. And they're just basically set up right now. They're on a hilltop. They did some Overwatch, and they're just waiting for contact to begin. Then you wait a few minutes after that for units to pull, and then you can just move right in. So Sam, I think, is trying to snipe Sector 3 off the docket, and then he's going to overwhelm Terminal 2, and then he wins. And I think these guys are over here to see if this was any, like, a good push in, but I think the tree line is still way too open. You still got way too many open areas here to be immediately suppressed. So this vehicle is either going to go north and support this main force pushing in, or go south and posture like the southern team. But I definitely could see a vehicle rush into this tree line, dismount, and they push in aggressively. And based off of the opening he might be given here, it might just work. Dream, you always blame somebody else. But our first engagement's going to be right here. Machine gun fire opening up on this defensive ridge. And that is by the MTLB. By its KPVT turret, because the commander turret's been turned left. I'm surprised he's not hitting his own turret with those shots. We hear some rifle fire down below as well. That is T firing. So that's some of these AK-74s. But yeah, you can see they have magnified optics on these as well, because this is a magnified optic fight, which means all riflemen are technically marksmen at that point. They have the magnified optics to pick people off. And then we still see, I love that Blue 4 also have these shotguns. And then you see that they put magnified optics on the shotguns for slug rounds. Because a slug round center mass will insta-kill a guy. And it's so satisfying to see. I don't think Op 4 is close enough within NLAW range. I think NLAWs only work up to 400 meters, and that thing's 630 away. So GPMG's opening up. His scope is a bit glitched on our interface, but he's got an RCO for that one as well. So you're going to see a lot of long-range fighting here. But what I'm curious about is, are we going to see this group pull, and what are we going to see pull from right here? We got two guys that have moved into Sector 3 security itself. And then we have some Blue 4 up here. It looks like some are... Yep, they're mounting back up. They might redeploy into the lines over here, but they're not going to spot any of the Op 4 coming in, so this creates a nice opening for Op 4 to flank that first position and even get right on top of the terminal site if they keep moving out. But that's going to put pressure on these guys, eventually pull them back. They're probably going to take a few casualties from attrition. And then Terminal 2 is wide open. So we'll see where these guys redeploy. But if they try to do a flanking attack on this line from the northern side, they could find themselves cut off. But at the same time, I think Op 4 is going to be able to take these positions before they could technically come around and then hit their opponent. Did they flip their Vic? No, they're just redeploying. That's weird. So, suffice to say, they're still on Overwatch over here. But look at how they've set up a defensive posture here. This indicates that they were planning for Op 4 to come into this town over here. I don't get it. We just heard AT detonate. I'm not seeing any smoke, so I'm assuming that was a missed NLAW. And as far as I know, there isn't a mortar in play. I'm looking around and checking real quick. We do have Kommand back here in a car, just waiting things out. But I don't see anything heavy. Meanwhile, you got this Op 4 group still waiting on the ridge. I'm telling you, they're going to be rushed in a few minutes, and they could easily overpower the small defenders here. But I'm going to be honest, if they were to rush in at the right time, yes, that's going to cause this group to fold in, but I think they could take the sector and cause a lot of Blue 4 to immediately pull into the zone, and in that chaos, Op 4 could take Terminal 2 as well. Malin has mortars. Okay, so he does have a 60mm tube. Got it. I know Malin was really mad last week because they put air resistance on, so all of his pre-range shots on the hill missed. And he was ranting about that last week to me. I felt so bad for him. But I've got mixed feelings about, you know, allowing them to see the mission files early so they can then pre-range their shots and whatnot, and then changing the settings. There's just... You either got to commit one way or the other. Either don't give them the mission file so they can't pre-range the mortars, or if they do pre-range them, don't change the settings on them, and then just completely screw with them. You know, it's either commit one way or the other. Don't be in the middle, because then you're doing something wrong regardless. But that's just my opinion. I don't run this event. I only cover it. All right, so now we got marksman up here. One of the E4s being used as a marksman rifle firing up at Hotel. That's going to either pin them or force them to pull off of that position. We see Samuel pulling off that spot. Terminal's in that little spot right there. More high caliber fire coming on this ridge. And we are seeing some infantry starting to maneuver. I think these guys are posturing to do a flank attack. They're getting information right now on where all Op 4 lines are, and they're going to come out and try to start flanking some of the battle lines. With those 50 cals and with the front firing GPMGs, I think they could do a significant amount of damage, and they could definitely stop this attack dead in the water. At least one of the flanks. It would just be up to the defenders to hold against the force coming up here. We do see a BDRM charge here, but it only has one guy. I would expect this to have a few guys to then immediately dismount. It's just Seismo and Sixor going up. And Curie, okay, no, so the crew's dismounted in full. I actually appreciate that more, because at least they're getting forces on the field. Now they're throwing grenades. That's going to collapse this defensive line and allow for the rest of the forces to go up. But we need to see more, especially in the future, more vehicle pushes like these to basically push the defensive lines back. But it relies on suppressive fire from the back line. Otherwise, some chucklehead with an NLAW is just going to come up and boop that as it drives up. Suppression is incredibly important for that. But even... So these guys have moved to the extreme north side. They're getting caught in reset hell because they drove out of the map. It's like a Chinese finger trap. The more they resist... That's funny. NASA's one of the admins, though. He should be able to fix it, but that... Don't drive out of bounds. Don't deal with dumb shit. Anyway, Blue 4 and Op 4 now fighting for control of this ridge. Blue 4 stayed up here a little too long, and now you're seeing Op 4's flanking attack starting to pick people off. Another group of infantry coming up as well. So far, we've only had one Blue 4 death. That's Rambo Bambo Rocky 19. Templar comes up. He gets MG'd by Seismo. Not double tap just yet, but Op 4 is getting a nice early advantage here by dropping people. So Blue 4 are going to be forced to pull back, but they're going to get shot in the back with no Overwatch coverage for themselves. So they're kind of forced to fight. Checking back, looks like the infantry are dismounting. Seismo taking some fire from the hilltop. We do see someone's been picked off up here. One of the marksmen might have gotten a lucky hit, so the other guy's stuck bandaging him. We got some more fire coming from other parts of the ridge to try to stop Op 4 from looking over. That's going to now finally allow for some Blue 4 to start pulling back, but we see some others that are staying on here are getting immediately taken out. That's 3 KIA on Delta 1, 1 knockout on Hotel 1. There is a medic working on him, though, so expect that knockout to be brought back, but... This vehicle's been caught in debug because they drove out, and, I mean, this is NASA's thing, though, so we might send... Yeah, so it looks like they're calling for the vehicle to come pick them up. That's funny that that happened, but I think Blue 4 now is not going to be able to do a flanking attack. But you got to look at what they're doing. They didn't have any intention to hit the forces from the back. They were going to come up in the back line here and start planking at the northern group. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think that's going to do much. Because Op 4 already has forces going on in this final position. This group is now in a posturing position to overwatch the elements coming up here. And then you have Boyar over here that's really close to Sector 3. I think this is game. We already have Op 4 super close to 2 out of the 3 objectives. And Blue 4 are still divided amongst all these different areas. You finally have the Bulldog moving out. It's over. And it's moving opposite of where it would need to cover. It should be folding inward through the center. Instead, they're trying to do another flanking attack. But it's not going to be enough. The only way I could see this faltering is if Blue 4 somehow stop this initial infantry advance. And then maybe that Bulldog and the forces back there can get on position to stop this main force from coming in. Enlaw fires. That's a hit. And that is an MTLB disabled. Good hit on that. We might see it cook off. But yeah, no, that vehicle should not have been on the ridge. They should have waited for infantry to start suppressing before they brought the vehicles up, because otherwise the vehicles can just get suppressed. But we already see now they're folding back. So Op 4 are going to basically get their foot in the door on Terminal 2. We still have Giovanni over here. He could deliver a very devastating counterattack with his medium machine gun. But, I mean, even then, we're going to have this team basically come in and take Sector 3, and since no one's in there, since they're pulling everything around, they think this is where the main attack is coming from. I think Sam's done a beautiful job, because as soon as we see the announcement kick up for this, which it already has, we see 3 now being taken, now we're going to see a lot of confusion, and I think that's because Oddball has way too many assets mismicroed. Even if this wasn't stopped, this group out here for no reason makes absolutely no sense. He has way too many forces on Overwatch positions on the outside of the actual fighting. He doesn't have enough infantry to set up solid defensive lines. And he has now lost Sector 3. And he doesn't have enough for the northern terminal. Now we have the mortar striking as well. These needed to be used much more aggressively. And much more on the direct defensive line. Because otherwise... you just have forces that willy-nilly go around on the back line. I think they might be able to spot Op 4 Command and take him out, but he's already won. Plus, he's actually in a bit of low ground here with some concealment from the tree canopies. There's Sector 3 taken. We just saw some explosives go off. No, okay. Lusod came up here and got knocked out by possibly a marksman, but now we have that group taken out. Forces around here are now going to turn around. This force should be barreling back. But that's going to also turn other eyes over here and allow for Op4 to get their foot in the door in this direction. Giovanni scored a kill. We see the body right there. And now we have the BRDM rushing with 5 people. They're going to deploy right on top of the zone. Mortars landing on it to soften it up. That's going to make Op4 confident that this position's mostly secure, and they're just going to charge right in. And wow! A mortar managed to land. If you heard that, an explosive went off. So a mortar landed on the explosive and detonated the explosive. So now the explosive trap that was planted up here is mute. That would have been really nice to have if they could have eyes on and watch them go onto that position. We still have this position to cover, but Op4 are poised to get right on top of this zone. You have Ground Command now driving. Blue 4 might spot him. We have another explosive going off on the top here, as it looks like there's a bit of red on red. Yeah, no, so Op4 just fragged their own position out of confusion. So a little mismanagement moving in. It's going to slow down progress a little bit, but not by much. These guys are going to probably come up to this hill and take out the Overwatch elements, but by now it's too late. You already have too much down. This team is now causing a massive divide because now Blue 4 has to focus forces on the north and the south. Blue 4's too spread thin. I still see Op4 taking this position, and then because of all the Blue 4 elements that have turned around to deal with this, Op4 still could get their foots in the door in the final objective. Dreadnought now dismounting. We do have some Op4 here. They heard the vehicle. Now they're just going to wait and pick them off as they come in. Kremet getting hit quite a few times, but still manages to stay up. And Op4, they are now going to probably just start trying to take out whatever comes towards them at this point. Because they don't want to push in and attack this zone on their own because they're going to get cut to pieces. Instead, why not just take out whatever comes towards you and continue to be a nuisance? So, grenades and smoke going out, that knocks Kevin out, but that's a really smart call on Op4 here because it would be suicide for them to go to the central objective because that's arguably where the center of Blue 4 is going to be. So instead, just take out whatever QRF comes in to try to hit you because at least you'll have a better numbers advantage at that point. I think this is a great call. Kevin wakes back up. Because regardless, it keeps forces in the center, focusing on the south. It keeps forces coming in, and that's less infantry that'll then focus on the northern side, where Op4 has maintained a pretty steady number advantage. Now you've got these forces coming back and around. They're running into some Op4. So Op4 Command came... No, that's not Op4 Command. I thought I saw the beret. So this is part of Alpha 1, and I think this was part of some Overwatch elements coming around the side. But that's going to keep these guys pinned. We have 2 knockouts on this side, though, from the Overwatch elements here. So now these forces are caught out in the open. This is giving all of the opportunity for Op4 to now take this terminal. It's just, can they take the infantry out that are on this hilltop and then come in and push the terminal? And that's where they're faltering a little bit because of that red-on-red issue. They just got the guy back up, but they don't have a lot of good Overwatch positions to hit this spot, which is why they were flanking Op4 around. They got caught by Blue 4 picking around. Meanwhile, Op4 haven't really been able to net any additional kills here. Now Blue 4 are starting to send a few guys down to reinforce and push that side. So Op4 is losing some momentum. It's not over yet. But if Op4 can get a guy on the terminal and pop some smokes on it, they're going to force Blue 4 to have to come to them. And that's going to potentially swing the game. But the fight is literally for this terminal right now. And I'm not sure Blue 4 has... They need people right here to be watching this zone, and they're not. They're now focusing on other angles because of the fighting that's going on over here. Granted, you do have the 50 cal over here that I think just got a pick off. So now Op4 can't come around on that eastern flank. But we already see Op4 getting their foot in the door right here. I think it's done. We could still see Blue 4 pushing on a counter, but... Where's Killer looking? If he's looking on the terminal, then we're good. And he has partial eyes on it, but not a lot. But he's got 6-or now in sight, but he doesn't want to get tunnel vision. Because if he misses the shots like he just did on 6-or, he's going to now focus on him, and instead, Kiri's going to run in and touch the terminal. Yeah, you shouldn't be cautious here. You need to just run right in because of what if there's an explosive trap too? Granted, we know from this spectator POV that the explosive got cooked off, but you can't assume that if it's been mortared. You have to run in, pop smokes, and then try to get it when it billows. And now Alexander also got tapped by the defensive position up there. So I think Op4 just massively misstepped here. And now the fight's being left to whatever, basically whoever can get it. Its tactics are out the window at this point. It's going to be whoever has the better PvP. So we've got Op4 now coming in. They're popping explosives in that goes right on Samuel. Unable to get away in time. He gets caught. More grenades going off, but the hill's too steep. We have another grenade going out. That's by Avolos. Combs tries to jump out. More explosives going off down there. All the infantry that try to push that position are gone. We only have Avolos left. Another wave of Op4 coming up as well. We got some stuff being pinned back here. 50 cals now firing into the MTLB. We saw some blood splatter. Gunner is trying to turn the weapon, though. Then you have Sam. He's going to have to pull out his gun and try to pick the gunner off as soon as he stops. I don't think he should have announced his presence early because now that 50 cal is just going to turn and spray on him. MTLB, I don't know why it moved its gun because now it's just going to get picked off by the 50. Yeah, they're blind as hell because now the 50 is going to unload on him. Sam manages to find an angle and kill the gunner, starts shooting at the driver, switches to the gunner on the gun, immediately switches to the driver and pulls away. GL's now going off on that vehicle and they do the silly thing of dismounting. And now the guns have turned and they're engaged and they kill that team. God damn, there is some weird-ass coordination going on. Meanwhile, it looks like Blue 4 counterattacked this position and wiped all of Op4. So back here, Blue 4 had they lost most of their guys on that assault. Op4 are down to 2, so they traded evenly. Op4 are down to whatever the heck remains, and now you got Sam. It looks like Sam got the headshot on the driver, and now he's coming up to double tap. Lolo's still alive on the driver's seat from the looks of things. Well, one of these guys in here is dead. It's NASA. So that's not Sam, though. That's paid mercenary. Sam's still back there. Okay. When you see Jamera get the double tap on Rigel, but a lot of the teams out here have been taken out. I think Blue 4 have sufficient infantry to hold Sector 1. I don't think they have enough to hold this position, but that's... Oh, this is Scandi. Oh. I want to say GG, but at the same time, I've also seen Scandi fumble the bag in scenarios like this, so it's impossible to tell. We hear double tapping fire from over here. The symbol's now gone. Ilbanek pulled the bodies out, and it managed to flip the vehicle. But yeah, Op4 now have access to a Scope 50 cal. They would have had 2, but it looks like it flipped. But, I mean, that Scope 50 can now pick off units in the town. This could go either way, but I think Op4's won. We just need to see him hit the terminal. There's still 34 minutes left on the clock. It could really... The question I'm trying to ask is Blue 4 still going to hold one of the objectives, or is Op4 going to sweep? It's going to be a close sweep, mind you. But I still think there's a pretty big opportunity here to see a sweep. Arakiru gets spotted by Fawns. Grenades going out, knocking T out. Arakiru, that's a grenade. He gets killed by the nade, but I think, yeah, we saw the other guy, Fawns killed, probably picked off or by a grenade, but T knocked out. Pierce now being the naked aggressor. And the naked aggressor goes down by Ash, who's wondering why a naked guy is in the AO in the first place. Scandi pushes this position. They take some pretty hefty casualties, but that is fully eliminated, and now they can go down and take the terminal. Unless we see the Bulldog rush out with 3 people. And did Rizbo wait? No, it's Zixme up here. He's now trying to engage that position from the rear. Bulldog's pushing up to try to still cover the terminal. Does Op4 have any AT? Malin has AT. But it's the mortar gun, it's not actual AT. You missed a bit of the first round, but we still have the second round. Oh my god. So Blue 4 going for broke to win the round. And a stolen N-Law gets fired on the Bulldog. Looks like it hit the side plating. Oh, it hit the track. So a detonation on the track, and the track is still up. That is interesting. GL's now trying to go on it, but they're trying to force that back. We still need to see someone run down and hit the terminal, but it's holding. Murphy, the only guy up. There's only one person in the sector, though. Op4 have two. They're trying to hunt Barros. Kommand is back here. Jamera is going to come up behind Zixme. We hear more AT firing on the Bulldog. Either that killed its engine or they're bailing out. Let's see if Zixme's superhuman strength is working. No, he can't hear it over. Wait, he does! Oh! He still heard him! I couldn't even hear his footsteps. But Jamera knocks him the fuck down with that E60. Or that M60 E4. Good God. Crazy. All right, Oddball and Dudeson now doing a flank. I think Nemesis is going to go tap the terminal, though. Double taps going on these bodies. Now, because of this push out, I think Op4, they have a solid number advantage. There's the hack. I think we're going to see a perfect score game for Op4. And I think it was because Blue 4 was way too spaced out, and they just weren't able to collapse the gaps for various reasons. So I think Jamera realized that that was Zixme and proceeded to mag dump an entire box into his head. Zixme is a very, very good PvPer. I would argue one of the best in all of Arma 3. So naturally, he's pissed a lot of people off by being that good. So you're going to see little reactions like that. Puma finding Oddball. That's Blue 4 Kommand. Gets into a 1v1. Manages to make Puma fly in the air. Landing head first and breaking his neck. Oh, but Malin comes up and taps Oddball, and Cats won the 1v1 with Puma up there. Or not Puma, the other Blue 4 guy up there. And Op4 going to maintain control of that sector. Meanwhile, Op4 hunted down and took out Barros. That was Twig King flanking around. He gets the double tapping kill. And now we have Murphy running in with the kill. Ash is up here. But Murphy beats him out. He has a stolen GPMG. That added fire rate is going to be very effective. And now it's 1-1 in the sector. If another Op4 comes in, or if Tackleberry gets killed off, then the sector will also be counted down. Lolo could run in and start that timer. Objective 2's hack is complete. We're GG. Yeah, Zixme could always come back. Round 2 revenge. Terminal site going down. Honestly, I think Blue 4 should have either kept those Jackals ready to ferry forces back and utilize the 50 cal to get pickoffs early on for attrition, rather than a counterattacking asset that didn't even properly counterattack, because they put it on a really far corner and then tried to do a flank around, played them way too cautiously. And that's what I think, that combined with the Bulldog being all the way to the south, and then coming in and then losing the 1v1, instead of counterattacking, it should have just conned in the center and reinforced the line. Or, if Blue 4 was confident in this line, it should have come up and reinforced this side as well. Those two pointless engagements, I want to say, accommodated for at least a third to a fourth of Blue 4's forces. And that numbers chunk needed to be committed elsewhere, because Op4 was able to commit, I want to say, 3/4 of their, if not 4/5 of their infantry on the northern attack, and then they just slid the one team into the south, and were able to sneak Sector 3. I saw that coming, though, based off of how things were divided. So Blue 4, too spaced out. Op4, I'm going to be honest, if Blue 4 redirected those forces, I think we'd be seeing a much different game. You would see that southern team fighting against the garrison that was here. That Bulldog team would have come up, and I'm going to be honest, I think they would have stopped the Op4 aggression altogether, because by the end, it was just Scandi as the last team coming in, and then you had a few more on the outskirts. I think if the Bulldog was here to provide more infantry, that would have swayed the favor. Blue 4 would not have lost this ridge. They would have had more defensive security in the zone, and I think they could have just repelled all the Op4 attacks, if not made it super duper close. And then you wouldn't have had to see Ground Command rush in like that. Instead, he'd be holding the defensive line against this force coming down. And then, again, the forces on that side should have also just immediately folded in and assisted instead of coming in on a flank and getting taken out. But I will say the attack they did on the flank to kill off some of the Overwatch elements was okay. I don't think they needed to commit both of the vehicles to it. That is where I think they made another mistake. But again, we're biased by having this interface that we can see everything perfectly. We'll see how things change with the next round, though. But I think those 50 cals with the scopes could have been committed a lot better. Now, it's like, you either want to be completely aggressive with them and, like, push them into enemy spawn early. Like, get on a hilltop where you think the enemy's going to be. Like, push one out to 129 and push one out to 111. And then just lock down the two zones. And then just, like, plink out whatever vehicles come. And when you feel like you're going to be, you know, receiving enemy fire, you just pull away. But you'll get a few kills early on, and then you just pull back to the next hill. And then you see the enemies coming. Get a few pickoffs, and then pull back. And then you'll basically flip-flop the game. So now the defenders have the number advantage instead of the attacker, and you just whittle them down to attrition. That's the proper way to do it. But if you're just going to pussyfoot on the side of the map, and then try to come in at the end, the opportunity cost of the amount of infantry you've spent to do that, it costs you the game. So we see some medical being done up here. Murphy's not moving in. Lolo's not moving. At this point, this is just a delay of the game. There's only 2 Blue 4 remaining. We see the stolen Bulldog coming in. So now they're just going to dismount and hold the center area. And, I mean, it's GG. So how's everyone's day? We still have a second round to cover. I think we're going to have a perfect score on Sam, and we'll see if he's able to at least defend one of the zones on the second round. If he is, he'll be the winner of this week. But for the sake of the betting round, he still has to hold at least 2 of the 3 objectives. But I think he has a good grasp on what to do for this scenario. I'm also excited. I pulled a really nice eggplant out of my small garden, and I'm going to be cooking up some eggplant parmesan tomorrow. And the plant's growing a second eggplant. It'll be ready in like a week or 2, so I'll be able to make eggplant parmesan again. But I want to pull out some of the seeds, cure them, and then use them for next week. Or not next week, excuse me, next season. Because the eggplant did really, really well. The squash, however, did not, which is a shame, but shit happens. Day is okay. Time to carry Oddball's team. Go for it, Ivno. I want to see it. Convince him to take the BTR-80 Alphas instead of the BRDMs. Unless he's going to pull what Sam did, which is using the BRDMs to rush the lines to get the forces up. If you're going to use the BRDMs that way, I would say the BRDMs are a better choice. But again, it's how you use the assets. But otherwise, suppressive fire from the BTR-80 Alphas is also a really great choice. Plus, you can immediately snipe any of those pesky Jackals, because I know for a fact that they're going to choose the Jackals for the next mission. For Blue 4 on defense. Day is okay, just hot. Yeah, it's been thunderstormy around here, but I liked it because I don't have to go out and water the garden. Waters it for me. I wouldn't say it's too similar. I guess the concept is, but how it played out, Op4 was definitely a lot more aggressive. But hey, we'll see. It might be a perfect score game on both fronts. Sector is now being taken because they have the number advantage in here. They're breaching on Tackleberry, and Major Khan is just kind of chilling right here, not really doing anything. So it's GG.
Send in Goat Team 6.
Yeah. Equalizer.
Wee woo, I want my goat back.
You can't have it back, buddy. He's demonic. So, you know, unless you want a demon goat. Then again, there's this really nice animation from Helltaker with a demon goat. But don't worry about that. Yeah, you can pay it out to Op4. They've won. But thank you for the 19-month resub. Hope you enjoy the operations. Hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. And there it is. GG. All 3 points. That was, I'm going to be honest, though, very reliant on the PvP and how things got spread out. But at the end, I think the better tactics won. And that's what I'm happy about. Alright. We'll be seeing the next round go momentarily. I think they're just letting this play out so the people, like, finish out the PvP. Yeah, Major Khan going aggressive after the round is lost. There we go. 10 Sam, 0 Oddball. That's it. Week 2 of 30 degrees Celsius and above, yep. So Cat's on 4 kills, Jamera on 3, Camred on 3. That's about what we see for most games. It's, you know, people only getting 4 or 3 kills, but well done overall. Round 2 will begin after a brief hiatus and a word from the sponsor, and Yadita. Alright. We will be back in just a moment. If my OBS would stop lagging. As an Arma 3 content creator, one of the most common questions I get from fans is where can I find a good Arma 3 unit to play in? One of my biggest recommendations is milsimunits.com. You can click on the Arma button on the main browser, and it'll take you to a page where you can see various different Arma unit listings. Each listing has a nice picture representing the unit, a brief synopsis, and the information you need to join the unit. Unit leaders can also sign up on the website for free by simply joining the website's Discord. It was all 100 degrees Fahrenheit for all of last week. Ooh. Tough. Yeah, whenever it breaks, I want to say 90 degrees. I water my garden twice, once in the morning, once in the evening. Because, yeah, that heat just evaporates all the damn water. Add that with drought conditions. Oh. I'm telling you, 20 to 30 years from now, water is going to be a rare resource. The way the world is going, ooh. Dig your own wells while you can. Set up your own rainwater collection units while you can. Because, I'm going to say 15 to 20 years from now, that shit's going to start getting expensive. So next place I move to, I am going to make sure I can collect rainwater because I am going to need it. Let's see. I think Blue Force Sapper teams were... That's the thing about Sappers. Sappers are either completely pointless or the linchpin, and it all just depends on where they set their explosive traps and whether or not they were effective or not. But it will help you lock down an angle. But if you have 2, then you can lock down 2, and there are 2 obvious angles for everything to come in, so... c'est la vie. I mean, it is a good deterrent to make your opponent slow down on a terminal. That's for damn sure. Yeah, and I agree, Killing Allen. There's also local ordinances in some states and even counties where they limit or even prevent you from collecting the rainwater, which is kind of silly. But yeah, no, I want to get a nice spot with a lot of land, do some farming. And then become 40 and realize all my bones hurt all the damn time. Just when I can afford it, I can no longer do it. But that's my new goal, to eventually convert, well, not convert, but add a new channel and just do gardening shit. Gardening, homebrew, and focus on how things can be cost effective. That's what I want to do. I'm gonna be honest, all rainwater is kind of polluted now, unfortunately. Like, they found, I can't remember if it was forever chemicals or microplastics. It was something. It's in the rainwater now. We're screwed. GG. But then again, our fathers were filled with asbestos. Or was that our grandfathers? Like, every generation has been filled with some sort of negative thing. So, whatever. Bro, they found microplastic in 100% of test candidates' testicles. So you're telling me there's microplastic in my testicles now. You ain't making babies anymore, you're making Barbies! God damn. Alright, that's kind of funny. I'll give you that one. Get somewhere where you can have bees in a garden, they'll pay for themselves. Oh yeah, no, I would love... bees are... I have traumatic memories with bees, but I do love honey, and I do love making mead, so one day I might just put on my bee suit and try to maintain a hive for the sake of getting honey, because that would be nice, but... I know for a fact, if I ever do go out and stuff like that, I'm definitely gonna have to do less Arma, because goddamn. My current output of running, God. Let me think real quick. Sunday 1, Monday 2, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. I at a minimum run 10 ops a week. Probably 11. Wednesdays are now 3 a week. God damn, how did that happen? Because it's either Secret Squirrel or I decided to... that's why. Yeah, so... Sunday there's an op. Monday there's 2 ops. Wednesday there's 3 ops. Thursday there's 2 ops. Friday there's an op. Saturday there's anywhere from 1 to 4 ops. No. Zeusing-wise, 1 or 2 ops. Heh. Heh. That would be me at full production, which I'm trying to get up to. But yeah, that's not including the streams where we're on the ground, because Saturday, I mean, we can have up to like 4 or 5 things at the same time. Ain't that funny. But I need to spend later today doing edits, but I also have a freaking D&D thing to do, so it's like, Darn, I spent all day making missions again. I needed to really edit. Oh well. All right. So, I think with what we learned, I think Sam is going to keep his forces very defensive, but we'll see what he chooses in terms of his assets. Op 4, we'll see if, again, there's 2 ways Op 4 can do this. They can either go up, hit this position, utilize these overwatching positions, then go from there, and then take the rest. Or Op 4 can come around, get on this position, and then go in from here, or fan out and go in from here or here, and then they go up that way. There's the more obvious route like this, but I think that's suicide. And then... I mean, Blue 4, they just have to hold the basic start of those linchpins, which would be Blue 4 holds 111, 109, and then they could also send something to 129, but that would be with your Jackal teams at that point. Or, if they want to be ballers, they can just send a Warrior up and then try to have the Warrior on the rear of the Op 4 formation. They have a 50-50 chance of getting it right, but, I mean, that's incredibly risky, but at least you keep all the infantry on defense at that point. And yes, I was doing late night mission dev, and then we didn't even finish the mission dev. So tonight, guess what? There's gonna be more late night mission dev. Fuck. Should go quicker, though. Then again, I always say that, and it always takes 3 hours anyway, so it's like, fuck. I can't win. Yeah, so what I'm basically trying to do over today and tomorrow is get all the ops sorted, still test myself to see what I can do if I only have XYZ time, and then hopefully by tomorrow have a bit of time to then schedule, like set up all the ops that I'm going to do the following Monday and weekend past, and then hopefully start building a good front log of operations, and then get back into heavily video editing, because ever since the 24-hour op, I haven't done any editing. Anyone want to take a guess of how much footage I have accumulated since the 24-hour op? Take a guess. It's in the gigs. 7. 7 what, Pro Labs? 7 what? 200 gigs. Just 7. Good for you, buddy. Yeah, 200 gigs. Way too low. Too low. 1 terabyte. Yeah. About a terabyte of footage. It's like 90% or even 95% Arma 3, and then the remaining 5 to 10 is DayZ. And my DayZ editor just messaged me saying, hey, he has a lot of IRL stuff going for the rest of this month, so he's not going to be able to get a lot towards me, which sucks. Which means, I guess that's okay too, because that means the DayZ backlog we're eventually going to get through, and that's going to run out by, I want to say, the middle of next month, which means we'll just start releasing Arma every other day until he can get back to me with more videos, but... Oh! I'm going to be honest, though. We're going to hit Christmas by the time we start releasing the 24-hour DayZ content. That's how, like, backed up we are. We're releasing DayZ videos on the main channel that are literally from last August and September. That's how behind we are. Did I forget to hit continue? Nope. Okay, we're good. We're just waiting for the next round. So, I need to, when I get back from vacation, just start going on a 6-hour sleep schedule, and then just have the discipline to roll out of bed by freaking 8 o'clock. But I also need a bunch of random IRL crap to stop bugging me, but I'm not going to get that. Liru's trying to do way too damn much. I think I lost when I decided I wanted to start running 1230 op slots, and now I can't run them because they're actually popular, because it's bringing all the European players back. Because the 3s, I guess, were too late for some of them. And the fact that Arma just had a massive boom of new players, and I want to frickin' throw my hat in that ring, and now here we are. But I am excited for Autumn War tomorrow, because I have a really funny meme I'm going to post when we start that op officially. I have another year before IRL slows down. IRL is not going to slow down until after October 2025. And then even then, I would say not till December. December is when it's going to slow down. But it's going to be very, very hectic up until that point. Then I want to say I have maybe 2 or 3 years and then kids. In which case, we're screwed. Then, yeah. That's where everything is, at least in my personal schedule, so. The thing is, if I don't do it now, then when am I going to do things, right? Damn, these guys have not started yet. I'm going to look up a recipe for eggplant parmesan while we wait. Hey, if you want pictures of that eggplant, by the way, DM me on Discord. I'll give you some nice eggplant pictures. And that's not innuendo, that's just the truth. Some sweet, sweet eggplant pictures. Hell yeah. Where's the damn recipe? I don't want your life story about how your mother perfected this recipe by going up and sucking Aphrodite's dick and blah blah. 2 large eggplant. I only have 1, so we'll just half the damn recipe. You want almond milk? Fuck you. Right off the bat, I know this wasn't your mother's recipe because almond milk was not a thing 20 years ago. Of course, it was, but it wasn't mainstream until, I want to say, 10 years ago. Anything that immediately has fucking shit like that, I'm like, ah, yeah, you're a lying sack of shit. Especially if it's on, like, a bougie website. It's like, bro, I just want a fucking eggplant parmesan recipe. Alright, here we go. Eggplant, all-purpose flour, eggs, olive oil, the breadcrumbs. I already have breadcrumbs. I'm just going to add it to frickin' Parmesan cheese, which it has, cool. And then toppings, marinara, mozzarella, more Parmesan, basil, oregano. Yes, it has the oregano too. This is going to be a good recipe. Good, good, good. And then we just split that between Bloodway and I because we both need to eat healthier by taking a vegetable and frying it and covering it in cheese. That's healthy. Will I train little Liru to continue my Zeus legacy? I'm gonna be honest, by the time my kids are old enough to use computers, I don't think Zeusing is going to be what it is. It's going to be something much different. And I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be up to my kids on whatever they want to do. Parenting's weird. First off, let me put the prediction up, and then I'll rant for a minute, and then we'll get right into the op. But parenting is weird, alright? Because here's the deal. When I grew up, I knew that artists didn't make shit. Okay? Let me switch it. It is now Oddball attacking and Sam defending. Alright? Artists don't make a lot of money. However, with the modern day of internet and all that crazy stuff tied to it, there is one major development that I have learned that now switches artistry on its head. Suspiciously wealthy furries. I know someone that literally makes 6 figures drawing for suspiciously wealthy furries. So if you know how to market yourselves in this crazy modern age, you can make money doing anything. There is a woman out there on OnlyFans that pretends to be a dog and makes 6 figures. There are people out there that draw for those suspiciously wealthy furries and they make 6 figures. There are people out there that commentate on an old archaic game called Arma 3 and they make a bunch of scenarios for it and they make close to 6 figures. So you can do anything. Well, okay, actually, a big chunk of that money also comes from you guys bullying me on DayZ, but I digress. You can do anything. Yeah, the freaking Hawk 2 girl just signed a deal. She signed a deal for a reality TV show as well. If you get a little bit of notoriety, you get a little bit of fame, you get a little bit of following, you can take it and you can do so much with it. By my metrics on YouTube, for example, I have no right to be able to make a living off of this, but I do, thanks to my own creativity and the fact that I provide a platform for you guys to literally bully me on DayZ. Like, that's how I get by. That's how I'm able to afford a new fridge with Bloodwing. That's how we do things. So as long as you're creative and you know how to market yourselves, and you're not a dick, unless you get super rich, like freaking Logan Paul or those people, then you can be a dick all you want. But I digress. You're good. Just do your thing. Anyway, let's begin the operation breakdown. So, we're going to have tasks here. Again, Blue 4 is going to be having to hold a terminal in 2 sectors. Op 4 having to hack the terminal and the 2 sectors. How the terminal works is if Op 4, the attackers, Op 4 in this case, interact with the terminal, it starts a 2-minute timer. If at any point Blue 4 interrupts that timer, the timer is then reset and Op 4 have to rehack it again. If the timer runs out, the terminal gets destroyed, and the points go to Op4. Blue 4 cannot take the terminal back. Sectors. If the attackers have the number advantage in the sector and keep it for 90 seconds, they take the terminal. If at any point that number advantage is interrupted, the terminal restarts and starts counting it down from 90 seconds again when the attackers have the number advantage. If the sector is taken by the attackers, it cannot be taken back by the defenders. That's how those are cashed out. Mission details here. Op4 having a choice between 2 BTR-80 Alphas or 2 BRDMs and 2 MTLBs with the KPVT turrets. Looks like Op4 is going to be going for those BTRs. I agree with that call. That'll help keep them all together, and they can use the trucks as transport. Blue 4, meanwhile, have the choice. Wow, they're actually going for the Warrior. That is not what I expected. They had the choice of a Warrior and 2 50 cals or a single 50 cal with 2 Jackals with scoped 50 cals and 2 GPMGs and 2 Bulldogs with 2 GPMG turrets. Wasn't expecting to see the Warrior. That's going to be a really interesting development for what Blue 4 does, but, I mean, against the 2 BTR-80 Alphas, in theory, the BTR-80 Alpha should win, but we'll see what happens. Regardless, mission details here, briefing. It's 1,500 meters of render distance. I'll calibrate that in a second. 175 build points for the defenders. Fortified colors green, and it's a 55-minute time limit. Otherwise, Blue 4 are going to be British kits, so they got L85s, G18s, or G28s, one of the two. Basically a 7.62 by 51 marksman rifle with 20-round magazines, and then NLAWs for their AT and GPMGs for their machine gunners. Op4, meanwhile, they have skeletal stocked AK-74s, E60M4 medium machine guns, Mark 14s for their marksman rifle. Round just officially begun. RPG-7s for their light anti-tank. Mazes have medium anti-tank. Also, Op4 have 2 heavy AT teams, quote-unquote heavy weapons teams, so they have mortars and AT capability. And then Blue 4 have 2 sapper teams with explosive charges and AT mines. Otherwise, looking at the roster, Sam going to be commanding. So they're taking the Warrior and just giving it to ground command. That's funny. Sam going to be commanding paid mercenary is going to be the 2 IC. He's Elbanek. He's just changed his name. Charlie 1 has Riku, Gregory, Jafol, Arjasep, Gerald, Adamek, Jamera, Parsil, Watchdek, and Husel. Delta 1 has Nemesis Cats, Cullis, SL Dream, Malin, Iander, and Puma. Foxtrot 1 has Fawns, Bursty, Pierce, and Henry. Foxtrot 2 has Curie, Alexander, and BJ. Golf 1 has 6-4, Seismo, and Lolo. That's an engineering team. Hotel 1, also an engineering team, because you see that, has Marchuno, Murphy, and T. And then Alpha 2 has Twig King with Jasper, Rodrig, Hammered, Lusode, and Crazy, and they're in the back of the Warrior. Calibrating my thing real quick here for my render distance so we can match it with what they have. Because you can then see that and I can read that. So that's about, it's technically right here. But otherwise, Op4 immediately pushing into the zone through the center. They're also going on the southern side. And of course, the Warriors deploying infantry right here to hold that spot. And Blue 4 have put forces out. They're going to take Hill 99. So they're doing something similar to what I was calling earlier, of just having forces on the north and south, and then, you know, just lock down the middle, and then do reconnaissance. But the Warrior's going to be in a spot to intercept the vehicles coming in, but it can be heard from afar, so it needs to get into a good defensive early on. I'm a little worried with the speed that these Vicks are going, noticing that they're jerking left and right to cut speed like that. If they're not careful and they go into a tree, they will hurt themselves. Warriors now looking around, but it's missed that opportunity to see those vehicles come by. But it could still catch an 80 Alpha in the open. 80 Alpha has a full infantry squad in the back. If it gets a positive intercept on that, that could be a game changer. Killing off a big chunk. If it's, again, 75 players on the server. Let me verify that real quick. So, yeah, still 75 players. So it's going to be a 35v40, taking out 7 players early on. What's 40 minus 7? That's 37. Or 33. That is close to 20%, a little below 20% of the Op4 player base taken out immediately. But the Warrior could get flanked. It's right in front. 80 Alpha just has to focus on the rear. Oh, but there's a little bit of cover. It could still tip the turret off. That's a tough call. Do you engage or do you hold? He doesn't see it. And they just folded off of that position. Warrior now going very aggressive here on the Overwatch positions. Could still catch a good chunk of infantry out in the open. Op4 is going to hear it and call it in, though. They should start hearing the vehicle. But if that vehicle is able to snipe off some full squad early on and knock out 20% of Op4's infantry, I think it's GG at that point. Op4 doesn't have the numbers to maintain. Blue 4 have a pretty solid defensive line here. I think Op4 might still be able to get their foot in the door, but if Blue 4 reacts, they should get it. But there's a lot of ways this round could go. If the Warrior gets sniped off early, I think Op4 win. But if Blue 4 are able to wipe a squad early on, I think that's an early sign of victory as well. Hello from Argentina. Nice, Tano. How you doing? Hearing some plinking shots from over here. So some of the Op4 in the open areas here are getting engaged from... You got to remember, both sides have magnified optics as well. Very good. Glad to hear, buddy. Hope it stays that way. So they're taking suppressive fire. Curie is trying to pick people off with his RCO here. He sees that member of Dima 2 in the open. 80 Alpha trying to suppress them from range, but the shots are going way over. So they're not feeling any pressure to get off right now. However, we just saw a marksman take out Curie's legs. That would be Combs over here. Yep, with a Mark 14. So he's got an even more magnified sight. That helps him get pickoffs here. He's trying to get that little keyhole on the guy in the bunker, but seems to be unable. We do have the 50 cal right here. 50 cal's now trying to line up to find an angle on that 80 Alpha. Looking back, the Warrior, I think with the contact they're taking, he's going to take this squad, and they're just going to give up and set up a defensive line with moving the group back. Or they're going to try to do a flanking action, which... It's Twig King's guy, so they could succeed in that, but we'll see what Sam decides to call. He doesn't realize there's a massive force right here. But if he starts attacking the attack waves early on, then he could do a really good job. But look at this. BTR-80 Alphas are trying to position to hunt that Warrior down. So you see the other one's been brought around. They're definitely trying to make a call on that Warrior. We do have an N-Log gunner nearby, and I think he saw that 80 Alpha up there. He's not in range to take it, though. Op4 lead is also in one of those 80 Alphas, too. So if they can snipe the commanders out early on, Op4 command going down early would also really affect this game, because then these two attacking parties, these two pincers, won't be able to coordinate on hitting the objectives. You'll probably see this one go in, get defeated in detail, and then this one push in and get defeated in detail. Now it looks like Blue 4's Overwatch element has spotted that southern group, so it looks like they're not trying to coordinate with the Warrior here, but that's pulling its attention away. Could still see the BTR-80 Alpha come up. I think it just found an angle. No, it didn't. Okay, there's bushes in the way. Oh, it can't see it. It's off to the right. They can't see it through the tree. They might get an opportunity. I saw its silhouette for a second, but that was because I knew it was there. Blue 4 heavy weapons for round 2 would be... Blue 4 don't have heavy weapons. It's Blue 4 have the sapper teams. Op 4 have the heavy weapons team, which looks like Dima 2 with a mortar. Yeah, so the Warrior pulled in. Now it's on defensive. They don't know that the BTR-80 Alpha is right there, though. It's trying to find an angle to hit these infantry. However, it shouldn't be pulling back like this. It should be picking these guys up to leave, because otherwise they're going to get pincered by multiple different positions here with the 80 Alphas basically covering them. So this group's being left to its own devices. Could still get a snipe on the 80 Alpha as it moves around on that spot, but really risky spot to be in. I don't think they realize just how much pressure they're about to be on top of. Warriors coming back to cover on the middle, and then Op4's deployed a mortar and is starting to suppress defensive positions here. I don't know where specifically, though. We see the rounds coming in. So if we come up here, we can try to track them. Wow. Oh, my God. That's really good ranging. They were still doing damage despite being lower in the hill, so that's making Blue 4 fold into these bunkers, but that's going to keep them suppressed. Good call there. A little bit of fog starting to roll in. It's not going to affect the game, but I am noticing just a little bit of cover on there. Oh, Blue 4 hear that BTR. Enlaw's trying to come in to find a position. The tree line's going to be too thick for them to do anything. Here's the thing, though. We have a Blue 4 group now in the middle of the lines here. Op 4, I don't know if they're coordinating to try to take that position. A lot of Op 4, it's like the previous round. A lot of Op 4 is out of position compared to a lot of Blue 4 being out of position in the previous round because they flip-flopped. And now Blue 4's in a really good defensive spot. They've given up on Sector 3 and reconsolidated on Sector 1 in the terminal. Smart play there as well. And they're trying their best to hold outskirts positions to stop Op 4 from charging in. Sam has the better tactics here, and now we see that Twig Keen's going hunting for that BTR. Knocking that out early would be a game changer. He has an angle. Can he get the hit? He does. Knocks out the gunner and the driver. Not sure if we'll see a cook-off on it. Other BTR is noticed, though, and has started suppressing the infantry. Infantry scattered. They don't have any more AT. They're going to have to call the Warrior back to get a firing solution on that vehicle. The Warrior is going... Bit of a misplay by Sam. I think he's just trying to walk around over here to see what he finds, but... I think he's also concerned that there's going to be other elements that might try to engage him, and that's why he's driving off in that direction. Alright, driver has woken back up. We didn't have a cook-off there, but Blue 4 doesn't have any other AT solutions for that vehicle. They have to call the Warrior back, otherwise that AD Alpha is going to wake back up and start taking infantry out. So I think Sam's moved to be in the back right here. Let's look at him and see what he can see from his maximum render distance of 1,500 meters. He can just barely see these positions through fog, but I think he's over here. He's trying to find a firing solution on this ridge right here because we saw that that was barely rendered. So he's trying to get some flanks on the infantry up here. He could, theoretically, you can barely see the position, but these guys are still folded into trees and whatnot. So that's a tough call for him. Smoke's being popped out. That shows that both of them have woken back up. BTR is damaged. Not sure about its engine. The gun is... I can't tell. Nope. I think I just saw the gun jerk up a bit. More smoke's firing out from its launcher. Does some suppression. Gets a kill. 6-4 also dead up there. That was Lusod. Okay. Other 80 Alpha also firing. These guys are dead unless the Warrior comes back and assists, but I don't think it's going to. So if Op 4 can wipe this group with minimal casualties, they can get there. Oh, no. It cooked off. I have no idea what hit it. Did you hear an impact? Did it have a late cook-off? I'm confused on why that took so long. Huh. There had to have been some sort of small cook-off at that point, or they maybe hit it with a GL. Because I think Twig has maybe a secondary with a GL? I don't know, but that's weird. We see mortars landing back here. We still see Blue 4 having some guys on the overwatch positions to the far areas. They need to be folded in, but Op 4 is also struggling to position forces up to be aggressive. Blue 4 now... When did Crazy get... What? There's something wonky going on. That's all I can say. But now you got this force trying to push Blue 4 here. They're caught between a rock and a hard place. We got an invisible marksman. But that is 180 Alpha out of the fight. You're exactly right. So you got an even fight right here. Where's the other 80 Alpha? It's here. And Kommand is instead... I'm not sure why they don't have the gun. There are so many weird things going on right now. Mortar's still doing a good job of suppressing. We have Op4 having a group all the way out there. Warrior's now coming around. We have a vehicle rushing in. Will the Warrior catch it? Oh, come on. Gun front, gun front. Oh my god, it hit a tree. You're kidding. Remember when I said earlier the risk of driving super fast is if you hit something, you're screwed? Remember when I said that earlier? 10 minutes ago. Sometimes it's the tree that kills you. Sometimes it's the warrior that's trying to line up a shot on you. So Op4 was about to rush in and get the sector for free and get points on the board. Mr. Warrior decided, nah, you're not going to do that, buddy. All right, meanwhile, Op4 is pushing the rest of this group, and they're just beating these guys out. Crazy keeps coming on and off of my interface. It's kind of weird. It's 3v3. Op4, I think, is committing more forces over here to provide assistance. The Warrior, if it doesn't go up and clean these guys up, they're still going to walk in. It's just going to slow that attack down. But we need to see this thing used a bit more aggressively, but at the same time, we've got a guy with a Moz right here. Ah, these guys are dead. Warrior is SOL. It's in the open. It's got no support. Moz is going to pick it off. Unless he misses. This is a 340-meter shot, though, and he's closing distance. Now it's 333. I doubt he misses. He's morphining himself. Maybe his weapon sways too high because he got some pain? I don't know, but Blue Force still holding on to that fight. They actually turned it around. They got two of them. It's Roderick and Twig King. Twig on 3 kills with that flank. So they're going to keep fighting. Warrior's starting to be on the move. Wonder can't get a line on it. The trees are in the way. Warrior, I think, is going to sneak out of there and charge the infantry. It's going for Ivnomane. It's funny because he came into my chat and said, am I going to have to carry? He could still survive and sneak into the objective. Oh, but he gets spotted by the Warrior! He's zigging! He's zagging! He might actually get away! He does! Oh! Amazing. All right, Blue 4 pulled off of this hill. We see one guy uncon. The bunkers are gone. Oh, no. So I think that might be Sixor's body up there? Yeah, so there's Sixor's dead body. Ay. Now we got Op4. They're sending the other BTR-80 Alpha into here to support the infantry. Twig is a very good PvPer as well. He's not as fast as Zixme in a 1v1, but he knows how to flank. And he knows how to time his kills properly. So I want to see if he picks up an enemy gun and hides audio ID. Yes, he is. Oh, this is why I love spectating him, because he knows how to handle situations where he plays a guerrilla war. And now we're seeing the Warrior get target fixated on Ivno, and Ivno's hiding for his life. But that's also brought the Warrior out of harm's way from this Moz team. Now you have an infantry group coming in from the rear. Blue 4 need to pull these guys off because they're kind of pointless up there, but I think Blue 4's too busy with what's going on here. But at the same time, Crazy keeps going in and out of my interface, but Op4 has a lot of stuff being pulled. Like, nothing's going to be able to hit that main force now because everything's back here fighting this team of infantry. So Op4's running out of manpower to actually fight the objectives here, and everything else is super separated out. So if the Warrior's able to get past this Moz team, it could come around and flank the infantry coming around here. But the question is, can the Moz intercept? RPG's also up, but it's looking in the wrong direction. Wonder spots it. Can he get the hit? This is a tough shot to make because he has to lead the vehicle as well. But I want to say a full length based off of this distance. But it's 200 meters in closing. But now the vehicle has some defilade. It's unless it stops, but again, I think it's repositioning. If they stop, though, they're dead. But they don't realize that. Anyway, Rodrig and Twig King pulling back. Is Crazy dead yet? Yes, okay, Crazy has been killed off, but they've kept a significant chunk of the infantry out of the main fight here. And you see that we have Killer J pushing in, but on no kills, and there's Seismo knocked out, but Blue 4 still have a decent defensive group on that zone. Blue 4 pulling away. Okay, Twig is coordinating with the Warrior right now. They're going to get a pickup and then redeployed in the central sector, and then the Warrior is going to pull central security. I think Blue 4 has this, because you got this chunk of infantry back here with the mortar. You have this first assault wave of only a handful of people. They're going to get fended off. You have this assault wave on the top right that is going to get fended off, and then this group that's also going to get fended off, but probably take Sector 3 first. This is being defeated in detail. All of your forces are pushing off on their own vectors, and even if you started with the numbers advantage, you don't have it anymore because Blue 4 have way too many forces on the zone, and they're going to hold it. And now you've got Blue 4 on this Overwatch element here. They've spotted Op 4 moving down this riverbank, and they're just plinking at them and even getting some hits, so that's going to slow that force down even more. And this is playing out pretty much the same way as the previous round. It's just, you know, reverse sides. One side is way too divided, and the other side is pretty well coordinated. So I think the BTRs realize that. I don't know why it's charging in. It should have mounted the infantry up here. But if they do a dismount on that objective, that just makes me question why in the first place, because they should have just mounted with the infantry here instead. Weird call. And they're doing a full... Yeah, so I don't know why they didn't mount that infantry up and just drive it up with them and then have the... It's miscoordination like that that is shaping the way of why the entire op is going the way it is. So I think they just fired some more mortar rounds. I don't see any in the sky. Oh, there it is. Bro. No, it's going to be just short. I was about to say, if it lands right on there, though, that would be pretty funny. Twig is a lucky SOB sometimes. I will say that. All right, this position now getting cratered with that BTR-80 Alpha. Autocannon rounds landing super close to Ruku here. There's more. But that's going to take pressure off of that group because these were the guys plinking at him. Here's the thing, though. Warrior mounts these guys up, drives up Main Street. As long as they don't hit their AT mines, it can hit these guys on the rear and do some pretty significant damage. So let's see if that Warrior comes in clutch. Op 4, meanwhile, meeting up with Ivnomain. Now we're starting to see a unified attack line down here. Blue 4 don't have the numbers to hold it. We still see a flanking attack right here. Blue 4 honestly need to take everything on the northern side and push it south if they want a chance of winning this round. The three up here, I find it curious that they're running around and doing a flanking action. They're going to go for the mortar. It's not a bad call to make, but it's also not the best call. I think if they just pulled back and provided backup in the central zone, that would be a much better use of their resources, but they're making a decisive action. At least it's, you know, they're committing to something rather than just staying on Overwatch. Now the Warrior is going around the flank. Oh, this is giving Op 4 more time to push the zone. Scandy sending a small group up to hunt that autocannon. Who has the AT? Iander. Oh, yeah, that thing's as good as dead. Because it pushed up, it has no support. What happens when you have an unsupported vehicle and a drunk Finnish guy with AT that has the world record for longest range AT hit in PvP Arma 3? You're about to find out. Hello! I was about to say, if he missed it point blank, that would have been a problem. I would have just gone, huh. Anyway, Whiteside gets knocked. This three-man shock trooper team is doing a great job of pulling things out. Sector 3 under threat, though, from the other side. Puma gets taken out. 80 Alpha is destroyed, but it's only going to mean something if the Warrior comes in and assists. Cats takes AT fire, is forced to pull away. Not sure if that resulted in any kills down here. AT to the face is still going to net you a kill, though. You know, the Warrior might be on this hill and now try to snipe from the rear, and that's not the worst idea either, but with Op4 going so aggressive now, it's not going to be the best call, but they're at least trying. More AT going out there trying to knock this building out. Sector 3 taken, Op4 has points on the board, and now we're seeing everything falling into place with a really nasty unified attack on Sector 1. Blue 4 now stuck back here, not able to find Op4. They're right in front of you. And I think Audrey Sip just noticed. He's trying to line up marksman shots. Heard more AT fire. I don't know where it went. Ihander comes out and gets blown away in that point right there. Dream is now holding here. Lolo gets stuck under the texture. Dream throwing 9-banes over. Gets Lolo. That's a grenade. Or no, that was the 9-bane. And Dream gets knocked out by... Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, so this is, it's this invisible stadium. Hearing more Moz rounds come. They're hitting the hilltop and getting knockouts here, but Blue Force pulled everything to this hill to provide better overwatch on this objective. Warrior deploying its infantry from very far off and is trying to provide cover, but Op4 is now too far in the town for it to be effective. As if I remember properly, that should be the Takistan one on Firuzabad, right? That was his 1,364, 66, 68 meter shot. Thing was wicked. 1,270, yeah. I thought he got one in the 1,300 meter range too. But that's just one of his shots. Like he makes amazing AT shots. And I find it funny that he has better accuracy with the RPG-32 compared to the Moz. Because the RPG-32, you can only range up to 500 meters, but he says it's consistent. So if you just... Oh, what the hell? That just caused a slight desync spike there. But if you're consistent with it, you can just line it up so that you can overrange the weapon. And then measure out on your screen where the mill dots would land. You could still make shots past 1,000 meters with it compared to the Moz, where it doesn't do that. Anyway, these guys just got taken out by a devastating rear ambush from these three, so that's going to stop the left side assault that never came. So Blue 4 cleaning up that side. The Warrior has rushed up, and I think put a few additional shots in that BTR-80 Alpha. I think Blue 4 is going to have this hold, because now Blue 4 have to worry about stuff on their rear line. And I think they were too busy coordinating everything. These guys got stuck up on the hill and didn't want to push in. The far group over here was still pushing in because they were taking suppressive. And then these guys just took Sector 3 and got stopped by the 3-man team. And the garrison in here, which is just down the Cullis, Cats looks like got taken out. Now they've got the Warrior on their ass. No proper AT other than maybe a Moz or two to take it on. But I think now we're just going to see the rest of Op4 get cleaned up. And this is going to go 2 objectives to 1 Blue 4 victory. You got all these guys back here working on the casualty and staying low because they can hear the Warrior in the rear. I still think we could see RPGs come out and hit it, but now we got Blue 4 with a machine gun just suppressing this position. I remember that, yeah. There's the $50 bounty for the AT range, and then the $100 bounty if you can kill a player with backblast. Scandy Recon is a funny candidate. Rodri gets a flank and takes out one of the E4 gunners. Autocannon finishes him off. They might be able to run the AT up on this doorway and hit the warrior. That's the only angle where they're gonna get it. Oh, and they do have an angle. Rambo has a really good angle on the engine block. Oh my god. And then they got a second guy ready to come in. There's the first one. Switch out. Don't reload. Switch with the other guy. Switch with the other guy. Yeah. Beautiful angle to fire from, and the machine gunners there were sleeping and not able to suppress up here. Sam is on con. Ilbanek now looking around. Doesn't realize where he got engaged from. Immediately tries to return fire. And is unable to save himself. Beautiful work right there by Rambo and Templar. Finding the keyhole they needed. Taking out the warrior. That's commendable. I don't think it's going to be enough to turn the game around. But that was really well done. And now we have this asshole in the back line. With an Op4 weapon to hide audio ID. More RPGs, NASA putting one in just to say he helped. But now Twig can get on a position, start picking off people in the back line. Let's see how effective he can be. I am going to try to cover War Games this weekend. No guarantee, though, because that's a day where I'm coming off a vacation. Gets NASA. Put some double tapping shots down. And no one back here is going to be none the wiser, because that sounds like an Op4 weapon. Multiple double tap shots going in. I doubt he's going to wake back up. Ivno taking that GPMG might have heard those shots and might think it's an enemy, but this group isn't going to think it's an enemy. I think they're going to report that NASA just got knocked, but they don't know by what. Then they might try to figure out that it's an enemy gun, or an enemy player, but with a friendly gun. Double tap shots. Oh, NASA woke. How did NASA wake back up from that? Dude got mag dumped. And I think Twig just tried to push aggressively and then got flanked by Ivno main hearing him. Ivno did say he would come back and clutch this for Op4. I want to see if Ivno actually comes and clutches it. Because by eliminating Twig King, now you don't have to worry about anything on the rear. We could still see Op4 regroup, but there's a lot of Blue 4 defenders. The only way Op4 is going to win this is if they unify, and we see some really heavy plays by those heavy lifters like Ivno main, NASA, Zixme. I mean, we could still see a turnaround, but it's going to be a very tough fight. I want to see it. Because who's still alive on Blue 4 that can carry weight? Malin, Cullis is knocked, Cats and Nemesis, I mean, any member of Scandi. Jamera's also been pulling a lot of kills as well in previous rounds of HK. Op4 might be able to bounce back. It's going to be close, but we could see a bounce back. And now we've got Blue 4 leaving the fortified position. They're going to try to counterattack with a force around here to push the far flank. That could be doable. What is Ash here, a marksman? No, I have no idea what the hell Ash is doing back here. He's part of this group, which is already moving into the sector itself. But Blue 4's got to be careful. They don't want to push too many forces outside of the sector because we could see some infiltrators get in and take it out from under them. I don't think Op4 is going to get a perfect score, but the way the game just changed with losing that warrior and losing those rear elements for Blue 4, we could see a very tough fight for the center. Malin climbing, Banks worried about him being in a position to intercept, but doesn't see him on the window. This is a very risky open top, but I don't think there's any... I think he still has enough room to go prone without getting shot. Ivno main loses out in a GPMG versus GPMG fight, gets taken out by Gregory. Couldn't keep that stability down, and Gregory gets his third kill. Damn. Here's some fire coming out from MajorCon on the far left. Meanwhile, Op4 trying to put some suppressive fire from the defensive lines on Sector 3. I'm going to be honest, Op4's fate is going to lie in Zixme. But he might trade evenly out with Scandy. However, he's going to catch. Pierce and Marcho moving up. There goes Pierce. Wonder trying to assist. Gets the second hit. Grenade thrown was a good call. They get double tap, taking out 2 free kills for Op4. That's what I'm talking about. I think Wonder scooped both of them up, though, when they were down. Blue 4 coming in with that counterattack wave, though. Pierce in the open. I know, right? Ooh, Twitch just had a hiccup. I don't have any dropped frames, but it just refreshed my chat channel. We good on stream, by the way? Is it buffering? Can you guys hear me? Can you see Zixme slowly breaching this building? Stream good? All right. Yeah, whenever I see it start buffering on the chat window, and then it says welcome to chat, that usually means Twitch had a hiccup. But if I don't have any dropped frames, then I know it's a Twitch side issue. Zixme breaching. Did he just? You monster. Who threw that? It wasn't either of these two. Did Lolo do that? I don't think they threw that, because they weren't in an angle to. That was either Lolo or someone in the garrison throwing a satchel out the window. That was silly. You're silly. For what? Oh, yeah. And then Ice Gang. Good luck, babe. I finish in whenever this round ends, but then I have to be back for D&D at the top of the hour. I know, but I'm making you eggplant parmesan tomorrow. Also, didn't you go out to eat yesterday? Do you want me to make you eggplant parmesan tonight? I can do it during... Oh, okay, we have to talk about this later. I gotta finish this round, okay? We don't have anything to eat because we're about to go on vacation. Alright, Op4 now aggressively pushing. Gregory getting shot in the back. His reign of terror ended by Wiki Courts. Blue 4, we did see that group of 5 come in. It's now trying to flank, but it's being caught in the open. Now they would do nothing but evenly trade. Blue 4 don't have a strong defensive garrison here. They got a few guys on Overwatch. Malin gets shot in the back of the head by Eric Hiru. Blue 4 might just get their, just might lose their fortifications here, and Op4 might just get their foot in the door, and it's being led by Oddball. Zixme crawling up. He's looting a body. He's up a kill. Wonder on 2. I think Zixme got Lolo. Husk now on the rear. Can Blue 4 successfully fold this infantry in on this Op4 opening? Sector now being taken. They have the number advantage. Blue 4 need to be rushing forces in at this point. Otherwise, we can pay it out to Op4. It's an upset. GG. Husk running in. Nemesis just got the kill. If Husks runs in, I think that'll nullify the number point. Audrey-Sip also running in. And now it's getting counted back down. Okay, so it's not reset anymore. It just gets counted back down. So Blue 4 realized it and started pushing forces in. Husk in a really good spot on the rear. He gets taken out, though. Zixme, I think, found some satchels and threw one on the building. Good call there. Op4 fighting with Blue 4 on the outskirts of town. Nemesis running in. Gets a kill on Rambo. Rushes in, gets the kill on Oddball Ground Command. Nemesis unable to get the double tap kill. Runs out of ammo, but I think he got enough shots to prevent Rambo from waking back up. And that, I think, just ended the game. Between what we have in Blue 4 in the middle, Op4 have a few scattered pockets around. They are doing a great job of picking forces off, but No, I think I spoke prematurely because Eric Hiru just killed Nemesis. I forgot about him being on the back line. Numbers-wise, I actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blue for to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 op for. So it's still anyone's game, actually. Reisel coming up. Gets a kill. Tries pre-firing the corner. Whoa! One taps the other guy at the cost of being knocked out. 2 to 1 still alive. That lucky headshot tap. And I think he might wake back up. That's the crazy part. He was hit multiple times, but we saw NASA wake up from worse, so Preikel might actually wake back up from that too. We'll check back later. Rambo gets knocked out. Eric Hiru gets killed off. Blue 4 maintaining a solid defensive line. Ash still up in the corner back here. I mean, it just went from 9 op 4 to 5 with a knockout. And Blue 4 are still at 8. So the game just, yeah, just doubled down right there. Even if he doesn't wake back up, it's decisively in Blue 4's favor right now. I might have just cast a cursed op for a little bit there, but... Cullis just came in, I think double tapped a body. Might have spotted Eric Hiru's body and hit it again. Because I don't think that's his, but let me check. Zixme is still alive, though. He would be Op 4's last hope at this point. I don't see Eric on the roster. I think he left, so I don't know where his body went. Still see Major Khan back here trying to get some suppressive fire. No kills. All right, I'm going to do it. Can Zixme channel his inner Audrey Hotto and win the match for Op 4? Kiss of death. Bloodwind staring at me. Nah, Eric Hiru disconnects. Ma? Don't kiss me with the kiss of death, Goober. Oh! Immediately takes a shot from the left. That's Adamek. Bro's got the marksman sight from one of the Mark 14s. He's put it on his L85. Have you 3D printed everything? So that 3D printer's been running nonstop for the past, I want to say, 2.5 weeks. 50 cal, now firing. Alexander gets his 4th kill with it, taking out one of the Op 4 guys coming in. So I think he was part of the team that flanked around on the side, or he was just part of the Overwatch defenders, but... Ooh. 4 kills in these rounds is not bad. That's 10% of your opponent. Other guy gets taken out. I think that was by Adamek on the flank. With his tricked out L85.
I have a question for your chat.
You have a question for chat? What's up?
Does other people's cartilage on their nose crack?
Oh, no. We're not having this conversation.
You're just gaslighting me into thinking
I don't
that
have...
everyone-
Mine doesn't crack. Yours does. I was just saying mine didn't. I wasn't gaslighting you to say no one else has that problem. I was just stating that mine doesn't.
I feel like I'm weird now.
What?
Or something's broken in my nose.
I'm not gaslighting you. Yeah, your nose got broken. It does that, so
Wait,
Razor's does.
Wait, my nose was broken. I pops like an MP40.
Jesus Christ. I wasn't trying to gaslight you.
I'm just... I'm joking.
Read.
My daddy.
Huh?
My daddy.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Your what? Nah, it's mine now. I know, but we'll see what I have to do. But we're still trying to finish out this round. Zixme is now, I think, trying to find Adamek because he took fire from that side. You're going to go?
I'm gonna go lay down for a bit.
Okay.
And then I'll probably get ready
Okay.
That's my titty.
No, it's not.
Oh, you have a hydrant.
No, I don't. There's no hydrate on the board. Lies and slander. So, don't dump it on my head.
How show me you tilt your head back?
I'm trying to watch PvP. Zix me trying to kill Adamek. No, no. Why? What cracks your nose? She wants to know if other people's noses crack on normal because she's never broken hers, but she cracks
when
hers.
I rub my nose, if I'm like sniffly, it like cartilage. No, like this part right here.
I might have just cracked my nose actually.
This part cracks.
Oh, that part? No, I cracked the side of mine.
No, but does that part crack?
The bottom? No. No, it doesn't. There you go. Other people's crack. There you go. You're good. You're not crazy.
Maybe you just fucking nose.
Did you sniff cocaine again? You say as you sniff? Okay.
Thick sniff.
All right.
Thick sniff.
Thick sniff immediately as I say that. All right. Anyway, don't do drugs, kids. It literally is up to Zixmy and Ash at this point. Ash might... Oh. No way. Hold on. Ash could still get the terminal. Yeah, you never know. I mean, anything's possible. Bye, honey. All right, 16 minutes on the game clock. You have a Zixmy. And you have an Ash. Can Ash channel his inner Audrey Hotto and win the game for Op4 by taking the terminal? Are there any explosive traps here? I don't see any. 15 minutes called. I actually don't see any satchels, which means there's probably a satchel somewhere. There's a dropped marksman rifle. Someone died here, probably to the mortars. Zixmy, I don't think he got... Oh, Zixmy did kill somebody. Oh, no. Oh, but Alexander has the open window. But he can't see him because the tree's in the way. He does. Alexander just gets kill number 6 by suppressing through the... No, he fired through the thin window. Window to window and gets Zixmy. All right, now it's up to Ash. Where's Ash? Okay. Ash, use Pikachu. There was an 18 line right there. There's Gerald. Gerald's sleeping. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. No, Pikachu, you're supposed to use Thunderbolt on the enemies, not the friendlies. Silly Pikachu. That's GG. Blue 4 victory. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Go operate operationally. Enjoy the rest of your day or night. We might be back late tonight for some mission dev. And otherwise, cheers, guys. And have a good one.